Salarah Starre is a UK-based advanced law of attraction teacher trainer, coach, public speaker, and leading wellness expert. She will share life-changing wisdom about the law of attraction and how you can use this powerful universal law to build a foundation for bigger and bolder manifesting results. It is time to create the life you deserve, and with Salarah's help, you will.
How to stop faking elements of your life, pretending that everything is fine, so that you can finally build a life that actually feels as good as it looks. Welcome to Manifesting Made Easy with myself, Salarah Starre, and today we are going to be exploring a conversation that many of us avoid, and yet it sits quietly in the background of our lives, fermenting away till eventually it starts to whisper louder and louder as time goes on. And the truth is, my friends, we are absolutely meant to change. And if you're listening to this podcast, it's obviously something that you want to. You want to enhance what you already have. You want to eliminate something that doesn't feel good so that you can experience something more. Whatever your reason is for being here, remember the truth. We are not meant to stay the same. But why does change feel so terrifying to us as humans? Why do we resist what we secretively crave? And what happens when we keep smiling on the outside whilst quietly breaking down on the inside? We're going to dive into as much of that as we can today. But before we do a full body dive in, I'm going to invite you to stay right to the end because I have a very special announcement to share. Everything is changing. My podcast name, my branding, my work, because I too have walked through these very same layers, and not particularly elegantly at times either. I felt the fear, which is so debilitating. And of course, I felt the misalignment, which has alerted me that something needs to change. And I've also had the ache of knowing that my life was no longer fully reflecting who I had become. And eventually, one small step at a time, I began to make decisions that my soul had once been way too frightened to make. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today in this episode is not just theory, it's absolutely lived. And if you are sitting in a space right now, which you resonate with some of my words, just know that you are not alone. Every person that has lived and aspired to something more has gone through the same rite of passage as you are experiencing now too. And no doubt we'll experience it more as we grow and as we expand and as we want to achieve more and experience more. We will absolutely feel similar growing pains in the future. But the first part, I guess, is the truth that most of us avoid, which are what I alluded to in the opening, is that we're absolutely meant to change. We're not supposed to stay the same. We're meant to grow. We're meant to become more expansive. We're meant to evolve in our mind, our body, our spirit. It's part and parcel of the design of our being. Whatever it is that we feel like we're missing in our life right now, our soul has come here to create. Our soul has come here to experience the pain of the ache of the lacking in order to push us and to squeeze us into the creation of the very thing that we long for. So that deep ache inside, that restlessness, it's absolutely not a sign that something is wrong. I know it might feel like that, and I've definitely interpreted it in that way before, but actually it's more of a sign that something is ready to be birthed in your life. You are ready to shed away the old layer of you so that the version of you that is ready to live life in a more fulfilled and expanded way can finally be seen. But why is it that we resist change, even though we know we want it, and even though we know we're going to be happier on the other side of it? Even though, yes, we know it's not necessarily going to be easy to change something, but the results are going to absolutely be worth it. Why do we resist it? And this is a massive conversation. I'm going to share some basic thoughts on this in today's episode. But cutting a very long story short, we have two opposing forces inside of us. So two parts of us are at war. The part that is fed up of settling the part that is tired and cannot carry on the way that it has been, the part that is wired for safety, the part that's wired for familiarity, the part that is wired for survival. But then that part of you that wants the freedom, the fulfillment, the connection, the abundance, the love, the alignment. And when we have two opposing forces at war in this way, it can make the journey feel so much harder and exceptionally tiring as well. But a lot of the time we stay the same as a way of protecting our nervous system. So it's a nervous system protection mechanism. Some of the subconscious patterns that we learned in childhood are things like, well, you know what, I better not rock the boat. It's best if I just don't say anything. Or, you know what, don't be so ungrateful. Look at everything that you've got in your life. Or, you know, who is it that you think you are? And we have these patterns and these programs running in the back of our mind that sabotage the very birth of who it is that we want to become. So the fear of the unknown, it feels way riskier than the pain of staying the same. But the illusion of the open quotes, I'm okay, the illusion of everything's fine, the illusion of, you know what, this is kind of as good as it gets type thing, when we're smiling on the outside, but we're numbing on the inside or screaming on the inside or debilitated from holding in so many emotions on the inside. And that's actually something I remember quite well, even as I'm speaking about this now with you. It's like, I remember just smiling and I had like this false smile on my face, but actually inside I was overthinking, emotionally exhausted, preempting negative things that could go wrong, things that people might say or do, so that I could try and stop them from happening in advance. And this just absolutely fried my nervous system on every single level. And these kind of destructive coping mechanisms can then lead to other kind of behaviors like overeating or just eating the wrong things, over drinking, you know, whether it's alcohol or, you know, there are other drinks that are actually very destructive. Overworking, which is exactly what I would do. I threw myself headfirst into working every single hour that God sent. And then on Sundays, I would be screaming inside. No wonder I'd spend the whole day crying. I was exhausted. I was wrung out like a sponge, and I was kidding myself that I was happy in my life. But I wasn't happy in my life whatsoever, of course. And then we also have the comparison trap. Have you ever noticed that somebody just appears to have it all, mainly on social media, right? They got the partner, they got the house, they got the health, they got everything. And then it makes us believe that there's something wrong with us because we don't have that. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm just not meant to experience that in this lifetime. Or maybe good doesn't happen to me. And all these other beliefs start to come up. That was a massive one for me. Good things happen to other people that don't happen to me. So then I'd find myself like unfollowing certain people and, you know, just so that I could protect myself from the pain of seeing what they were experiencing. The illusion that other people were more worthy or special in some kind of way or another. And of course, this misalignment, it shows up physically and it shows up emotionally. And my body was screaming. In the beginning, it was my body was whispering. And then it was slowly getting louder and louder and louder. And then just full on shouting and screaming to get my attention. The aches, the pains, the brain fog, the burnout, the anxiety, it just became so much. My body was desperately trying to alert me that something was wrong. But the emotional suppression, the ignoring, the pretending, that led to the numbness. But then it led to more than that. It led to irritability with my loved ones, with myself, frustration. It led to feelings of anger. And it felt like the life that I was living was like sandpaper to my soul. That's probably the only way that I can explain it. And this is going back now a good kind of 5 to 10 years when this was at its absolute worst for me. The last 5 years have just got progressively better and better and better. And life looks completely different now, which is why I'm here, because I want to help you to achieve the same. So when these kind of feelings and thoughts are experienced, this, my friend, is an invitation for you. It's not about accepting your lot. It's not about dismissing your feelings through saying things like, well, I should be grateful, really. Yeah, of course. We've always got something to be grateful for, but not when it comes to dismissing these deeper screams, these deeper cries, and these deeper yearnings. These feelings, they're not failures, but instead these are activation points. These are opportunities for you. And no, we're not being punished by the universe. How many times I've heard in my coaching practice over the years, well, the universe is punishing me, or God is punishing me, or why would God do this to me? God and the universe are doing nothing to you. God and the universe want you to live the best life possible, not to be handed everything on a plate so that you don't have to play an active part in the creation of this dream reality you want to experience. That's just an illusion of our ego that wants everything handed on a plate. But I guarantee you, if everything got handed to you on a plate, you wouldn't appreciate the blood, sweat, and the tears of creating that for yourself. The deep sense of appreciation and gratitude, not to mention all the other skills that you unlocked along the way, like courage and willpower and strength. So the universe and the God are not punishing you. They're showing you what is possible for you. And where you are misaligned with some of the decisions that you may have made in the past, which has landed you where you are right now. And this is when the game starts to change, when we start to take radical responsibility. And this isn't saying that it's okay to have been abused in relationships and you've chosen that. Absolutely not. But somewhere, somehow, maybe your self-worth was so low that you chose partners and situations which were mirroring how you felt about yourself inside. It's a very controversial conversation. I have suffered from mental and emotional abuse in relationships. I was at the lowest ebb in my life, with my body and mind screaming out. I was so ill, I couldn't even get up off the sofa without feeling like I was walking on glass. I don't want to blame my relationships or exes for that. The decisions I made. And yes, it was difficult. And yes, they played their part in that. But I still needed to take responsibility and accountability for some of the decisions that I made that left me in such a vulnerable position in the first place. And I always advise seeking medical and professional help when it comes to experience any kind of abuse in your life. Because this isn't about dismissing feelings. This isn't about not seeing the extent of the damage that had happened as a result. And it's not your fault what happened to you in many of respects, especially when we're children, especially when we're growing up. But it is our responsibility, as Will Smith said, it is our responsibility to change that. And we can change that. How do I know that? Because I have. I suffered terrible abuse growing up. I had relationships that were modeled to me in very destructive ways. I didn't know how to have a healthy adult relationship. And the relationship we have with ourselves will determine the quality of the relationships we attract, but not just that. The quality of worthiness that we feel in our soul to experience the life that our heart yearns to live. Has it taken me time? Yes, it has. Has it been challenging at times? Definitely. Has it been worth it? Oh my word. Yes, 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 in every way. Did I do it slowly? Yes, I did. Did I get impatient at times? Yes, I did. Was one of my lessons patience for sure. But it didn't necessarily need to be as scary as I made it for myself in the beginning. So if you want to manifest the best life possible for yourself, this is about taking radical responsibility for what is no longer aligned for you. You may have made choices in the past that you felt you had to, or you must, or you should, or perhaps like me, you made some choices that were quite frankly not the right choices for you at the time, but you did it anyway. But you get to change that now. You get to make a new choice now. You get to choose again. So no, it's not about this instant change, but it's about slowly and surely becoming more energetically congruent with the life that you want to live. And my last episode, No is the New Yes, is going to be a very important part of this journey for you. Every time you say no to something that's misaligned, that's something that doesn't feel right, even if it's the scariest thing to do, you create space for more aligned opportunities to come into your life. So your healing does not have to be scary, especially when it's done with love and compassion and gentleness, especially when you find the right person to hold your hand along the way. It's about feeling safe with the person that's guiding you through the healing that you need in order to let go of who you no longer are, so that you can become the person that is waiting to birth this amazing and extraordinary life for you. It's reclaiming the parts of you that had to hide away because it wasn't safe. That funny part of you, that part of you that's got a laugh that's so contagious, that part of you that enjoys singing, that part of you that enjoys dancing, that part of you that enjoys exploring, but somehow, somewhere had to shut down and conserve that energy in order to survive. Having the balance inside of us of being open and receptive to receiving the good that the universe wants to bring us. Trusting and allowing these wonderful things to unfold. It's only the fear and the worry and the doubt that pushes and forces. And when you create that feeling of stability and safety inside of you through doing some of the deeper work, boundaries, healthy communication, assertive communication, structure, the right kind of protection, that's when you'll move forward. And that's when healing can feel like freedom instead of fear. And I always say, start low and go slow. You don't need to change everything overnight. Just one little thing at a time. You don't need to scare yourself into change. If you shifted just 1% every single day, I wonder where you would be in 365 days from now. Because these small, tiny shifts compound into complete and beautiful transformations. Is it important to have someone in your corner? Yes, it is. It's important to have that cheerleading person that says, I believe in you. You've got this. I can see the you that you are becoming beyond this. And if you don't have that voice, that person, you get a coach or a mentor that can help you with that. You can learn to become that for yourself. To say to yourself, looking in the mirror, I am willing to believe in you. Even if saying, I believe in you feels too big, too far-fetched, too far-reached, I'm willing to believe in myself. I'm willing to believe that I can do this. I'm willing to believe that I have what it takes to make small, consistent changes every day. I'm willing to believe in the possibility that life gets to be better than this. I'm willing to believe that all those things I see on social media are not just available for them, but they're available for me. I'm willing to believe that if it is possible in the world, it is possible for me. I'm willing to believe in myself. I'm willing to believe that the universe has my back. I'm willing to believe, even if it's the tiniest amount right now, I'm willing to believe that a great life is possible. And it's important to surround yourself with voices, mentors, friends, music that support your highest vision for yourself. If you find yourself doom scrolling, stop it. Your subconscious mind doesn't know what's real and what isn't. It doesn't know that that's someone else's reality that they're explaining on Jeremy Kyle or in those magazines. It just picks up on the way it leaves you feeling and thinks you want more of that. So be mindful of what you're exposing yourself to. I listen to loads of uplifting podcasts, audiobooks. I have to keep on top of myself because I sometimes do get involved in somebody else's doom and gloom and their story. And I think it's nice to have compassion, but I also think it's important to have a healthy balance to make sure that we don't submerge in the sea of negativity. So when you fill your mind and your heart with growth and conversations that are expansive and inspiring, that's when the game starts to change. So what if you're just outgrowing the life that no longer fits the person that you're becoming? It's a bit like an old pair of jeans that no matter how hard we try, we just can't button those up. Or even if they fit, they don't suit you anymore. Because your style has changed, your body shape's changed, the way you walk, the way you hold yourself has changed. So instead of trying to squeeze yourself into something that once was, buy yourself a new pair of jeans that complement who you are. Because remember, the longer we pretend, the louder that ache, that pain, that yearning becomes. The more unbearable it becomes mentally, emotionally, physically. And misalignment will always start whispering gently before it starts screaming very loudly. So this isn't about forcing your life into what you want. The law of attraction, manifestation, it's not about forcing and pushing. You'll only get more of the same stuff that you have to force and push with. Who wants to do that? We don't want a nervous system that's fried, that's having to push and force its way through life. We want a nervous system that is relaxed and can enjoy the good that the universe not only wants to bring us, but wants to bring us in abundance, and become that version of you who can hold that life that the universe that you want to bring to yourself. So when you see other people succeeding, instead of looking at it through the lens of lack or jealousy, that's your soul recognizing, my friend, what is possible for you. And you can say, you see that universe? I activate that frequency inside of me. So you are not meant to stay the same. You were never meant to shrink. You were never meant to silence your desires or convince yourself that this is all that there is. Change feels scary because your nervous system is protecting you, but you don't have to dismantle it overnight, and you certainly don't need to dismantle it on your own. It's just taking one small step each time. And if nobody said this to you lately, I believe in you. The life that you long for, it exists, absolutely, because you're meant to live it. You're meant to experience the good that the universe has to offer and wants to bring you. So if this has spoken to you today, or you know of somebody else that is experiencing this, I invite you to share this episode with them. Give them hope. Be that cheerleader that also says to them, I believe in you. And if you're ready to take this work deeper, you can always explore my private coaching. You'll notice on my website that that's shifting and changing. You can have a free consult to see if the work that I do for you could be helpful. If not, I can definitely point you in the right direction with the different coaches and therapists that I have in my network. But remember, you're not broken. You're simply being called forward. Change can be terrifying because it asks us to release the versions of ourselves we've held onto for so long. But on the other side of that resistance is your freedom. And as I mentioned at the start, everything is evolving here too. I'm stepping into a new season myself, and I feel a sense of emotion as this will be the last podcast, Manifesting Made Easy. My new podcast with a new name, with new energy, will be launched as of next week. Keep an eye out. And be sure to sign up for my newsletter for any updates. And like I said, if you want to reach out for that free consult to see how I can help you on your journey, it would be an honor. Anyway, for now, I shall be back the same time next week. And in the meantime, remember, believing in yourself is the first step. And one small change can mean a mammoth shift. Take care. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening. Salarah Starre will be back next week with great insights into the law of attraction. In the meantime, please visit salarahstarre.com.